All right, here we go, guys. We're about to move on from Hinduism and learn about another religion that started in India, which is Buddhism. And here you see Buddha right here. Look at this big old statue of Buddha. All right, let us continue. Yes. So, who is the Buddha? Prince Siddhartha Gautama was born around 563 BCE in a small kingdom near what are those mountains up there? The Himalaya. Today, this area is in southern Nepal. All right, Siddhartha, or Sid, I'm going to call him, seemed to have it all. This guy had it made. He was wealthy. He was handsome. He was happily married and had a fine, healthy son. Then one day, he decided to explore the kingdom beyond the palace walls, where he had never been. As he traveled, he became very upset. He saw beggars, people who were ill or sick, and people broken down by age with no home and nowhere to go. For the first time, Sid was truly aware of this world problem called suffering. Then and there, Sid decided to seek, and what's he going to look for? An answer to this great riddle. And here is the riddle. Why do people suffer? Why do you and I have to suffer? And how could their suffering be cured? Check out what he does. He left his family and riches, catch that, and began his search. At first, he lived like a hermit, means all alone, fasting and sleeping on the hard ground. Sid almost starved, but he still had no answer to his question. Then he decided to sit still and meditate for as long as it took to get the answer. Legend says that Sid sat under a tree to meditate. And after 49 days of no eating, no drinking, and just sitting there, he finally understood. It was as if he had seen a great light. Sid spent the rest of his life wandering the countryside and telling people what he had discovered. His lessons about life and the nature of suffering became known as Buddhism. To his followers, he became known as the Enlightened One. Enlightened One. Or the Buddha. That's right. It changed his name forever. So, what is Buddhism? Let's try to understand it a little bit. To understand the Buddha's ideas, one first has to see the world as he did. Like any good, remember, he was a Hindu. He followed Hinduism first. Sid did not think that the normal, everyday world was real. They didn't think this was real. It's all just an illusion. Trees, houses, animals, the sky, and the oceans were just, I just said it, just illusions. Nothing of this is real. So were poverty, sickness, pain, and sorrow. Sid believed that the only way to find truth about the world was to give up all, check this out, desires. Desire nothing. By giving up the desire for fame, and the desire for money, and the desire for all worldly things, pain and sorrow would vanish. If a person gave up all desires, he would reach the ultimate goal for a Buddhist, which is nirvana, to reach nirvana. All right, nirvana is not a place like heaven, but a state of what? A state of your mind. The heart of Buddhist teachings are contained in what's called the Four Noble Truths. They are this. Now check these out. These are kind of cool. You might like some of these. It says this: life is full of, and some of you know this more than others, it's full of suffering. There's pain and suffering in life, yes. People suffer because they desire worldly things. The way to end suffering is to stop desiring things. The only way to stop desiring things is to follow this whole new idea called the Eightfold Path. All right, the Buddha's fourth truth says people should follow 8 steps to eliminate suffering. The Buddha's Eightfold Path was this: 1, know and understand the 4 noble truths. 2, give up worldly desire and don't harm others. 3, tell the truth and don't gossip. And don't speak badly of others. Number 4, don't commit evil acts like killing, stealing, or living an unclean life. Do rewarding work. It means work that's valuable. Work for good and oppose evil. Number 7, make sure your mind keeps your senses under control. That means control yourself, self-control. And number 8, practice meditation as a way of understanding reality. That means be alone and just think about the world. One reason the Buddha's ideas became popular was that he did not accept that thing we talked about last week, the caste system. Buddha did not accept the caste system. A person's place in life depended on what? What's a person's place in life depend on? It depends on the person. The Buddha did believe in reincarnation, but with a difference. If people wanted to stop being reborn into new lives, the Buddha said they would only have to follow his, there you go, Eightfold Path. Many people liked the Buddha's message, especially who liked it? Who was the main person group who liked it? That's right, the untouchables. They liked Buddhism and lower class Indians. For the first time, these groups heard that they too could reach enlightenment and be like Buddha. All right, so why did Buddhism spread? For more than 40 years, the Buddha preached his ideas. Disciples are gathered around him, and after his death, they spread his message all over, not just India, but all over Asia. As more people practice Buddhism, what do you think happened? As more and more people get involved with stuff, disagreements arose about the Buddha's ideas. Finally, Buddhists split into 2 groups. The first was what's called the Theravada Buddhists, or Theravada Buddhism. Theravada means teachings of the elders. It sees the Buddha as a great teacher, but not a god. Buddha did not want to be a god. Buddhist teachers and merchants spread the ideas of Theravada to the south and east. It was adopted in Sri Lanka, the island below India, in the 200s BCE. Theravada Buddhism also became popular in Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. All right, and then, here's the next one. How is the Mahayana Buddhist different? The second kind of Buddhist is called, and you see it right there on the top, the Mahayana. The Mahayana Buddhist. It teaches that Buddha is a God who came to save people. Mahayana Buddhists believe that following the Eightfold Path is too difficult for most people in this world. They believe that by what? By worshiping the Buddha, instead, people will go to heaven after they die. There they can follow the Eightfold Path.